Alright, I'm about to react to the new video on Playback by Agent and Low. It's called BLM Scam $6 million of donations for a mansion. This wouldn't be the first time I've heard of this. I think they tried to do something like this last year. And also, this wouldn't be the first time that somebody has used money for a good cause in order to spend it on something other than the cause itself. Like, people do this with GoFundMes. I've heard of people doing this with GoFundMes. Like, GoFundMes, they usually generate so much conversation to the point where random strangers start donating money to just random people who need help around the world. Like, people make GoFundMes for their house burning down, for funerals that they can't afford, you know, tough financial situations, all kinds of things. But yeah, it wouldn't be the first time.
Some very interesting information is passed upon us. BLM is spending millions of dollars on luxury homes, mansions.
They're under more scrutiny over how it's spending donors' money, as a new report claims Black Lives Matter leaders used $6 million in donations to buy a massive, beautiful California mansion. Scratch my head, you know, after the summer of 2020, we'd heard that Black Lives Matter took in $90 million, and we wondered what they were going to spend the money on. Now we know they spent $6 million on a mansion for themselves.
The purchase of the nearly $6 million home had not been previously reported, and BLM officials tried to keep its existence a secret from a journalist looking into a transaction. According to the reports, the organization tried to kill the story about the home, which is referred to initially as the campus, while one strategy memo reportedly suggested it may be used as an influencer house where artists can congregate. Reportedly, the house is a 6,500 square foot spread with more than 6 bedrooms and baths, a fireplace, a pool, and parking for more than 20 cars.
I swear to Agent, I swear. So this actually has already existed.
So essentially what I'm getting from this is whatever organization this is taking advantage of what happened in 2020 with all the protests, the George Floyd stuff, all that shit, just taking advantage of it, using some of the income that BLM made during that time to essentially improve their lifestyle or whoever's lifestyle we're talking about here, essentially, is what I'm getting.
And they removed this video. This video right here, the screenshot was on her channel. It's removed now. And this was allegedly that house.
Bro, just look at they got a chimney outside, bro. Look in the back behind her. Like, so they bought the house, tried to hide the house. The house is so fucking big that they call it a campus.
So you making everybody look bad. It's a movement that needs to exist, but this specific org called BLM is buying luxury mansions in the most expensive state with y'all donations. Isn't that fucked up?
Now, here, what makes it even more worse? This is not the first time they've done it. Now, 6 million is the most they've done.
That's crazy.
6 million is the most but this actually is not the first time they've done this. Literally, a year ago, they got caught spending millions of dollars on houses once more.
That's also a critique, though, from the left that would say, if you are a trained Marxist, if we're talking about a certain kind of radical politics.
She's a Marxist? Shut the fuck up. If she's a Marxist, this is straight up hypocrisy.
Yo, that's what he's about to ask.
If she agrees to being a Marxist, this is quite literally the most hypocritical thing I've seen all year.
She's about to explain why
she's a Marxist until it comes to her receiving the $6 million house.
Again, this is what her explanation was a year ago when they've done it. They've now done it again, but let's hear her explanation to why she did it a year ago.
She better say socialist or capitalist. If she says Marxist, low.
Extravagant homes of any sort or multiple properties of any sort is itself contradictory to the ideology that you hold. And so it's not about having money per se, but that it's about, or about property per se, but it's about there being a potential contradiction between your expressed politics and your lived practice.
Sure, and I think that is a critique that is wanting.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
And I say that because the way that I live my life is in direct support to Black people.
What the fuck is she talking about?
The org has probably...
My nigga, you're taking advantage of Black people's expense by spending donations. Like, literally, You're having fun with your own lifestyle at other people's expense due to an event is essentially what I'm taking from what this dumb bitch just said. She is dumb as fuck.
Done some good. The fucked up thing that y'all don't, that a lot of people, you probably understand about charities is they enrich rich people. It's just fucked up. These charities that y'all, these foundations, these rich people create, the reason they create them is because they can hire their family to work for them. They get infinite tax write-offs. Do you know when you go to the grocery store and they ask you, you want to round up to the next dollar for veterans? They don't care about veterans. It's a tax write-off because they will claim the money you gave them as their donation. And when millions of you guys are doing it, that's a huge tax write-off. So let's just start there. A lot of these charities are just fraudulent. But on top of that, what was it? How much of the Red Cross goes to administrative costs? 90%. Some of these charities are beyond inefficient to the point where if you give them $1, maybe 15 cents, 30 cents of that is gonna go to the actual cause that you want. And it's one thing where sometimes you do need some sort of like administration costs, like it is what it is. It costs money to run a charity because it costs people. The reality is charities live off of what? Volunteers who volunteer their time. So not only that, but they're classified as a non-profit. So when you see them making for-profit decisions like buying a $6 million house, you're not gonna convince me that $6 million house was a business expense.
Also be clear about how these foundations work, like he sat there and said. It's all a write-off. The reason why everything is a write-off because they're supposed to be a non-profit foundation, meaning that at the end of the year when it comes time to put in their tax return, they literally cannot take profit, so they literally have to spend
the money,
everything.
So you guys need to understand how nonprofits work, and it's corrupt in this country without a doubt. Because the NFL is a nonprofit technically, which, come on, dog, that's the most for-profit business in this country.
Exactly.
But a nonprofit just means you have to spend as much as you make. So if you have a $5 million surplus that you're keeping at the end of the year, then you're no longer nonprofit. So when they have a $6 million surplus of stuff they could have spent to do their objective, but instead they spend it on a house just to meet that threshold to be nonprofit.
And that's why
fucked up.
And that's the reason why, bro, y'all gotta be very careful about the shit that y'all following, man, because y'all don't know. Those millions of dollars you're spending in houses cannot be put anywhere else,
including my Black family members, first and foremost. And for so many Black folks who are able to invest in themselves and their community, they choose to invest in their family. And that's what I've chosen to do.
Whoa, that is...
What the fuck
Whoa, no,
am I hearing?
No.
You took from other Black families, you fucking fraud?
No, you're not telling me that you thought that niggas is giving you money to put into your own family?
I'm not gonna lie, Marcella's gotten worse.
No.
I didn't think she was gonna say it outright.
No.
That's insane.
So essentially what the lady is saying is she thought that Black people essentially were giving her money in order to have fun and a better life at her own expense versus taking the money, using the money with the organization in order to improve just Black African American experience and what we go through in order to improve the situation and the scenarios. But hey.
Insane.
No.
Oh my God.
There's no way you thought that people were giving you money to the tunes of which you were able to spend millions of dollars on a house, that you thought that niggas was doing that so you can put it back into your own family? No.
I have a child. I have a brother that has severe mental illness that I take care of. I support my mother.
The families you took this money from have causes too. They might have somebody who's dealing with something or a surgery or a mental illness. You're not the only one. You took it from other families. And it's not, just to be clear, she's not just making ends meet. It's a $6 million house, bro.
That's what I'm about to say.
She's not just paying a regular salary.
Look, it'd be one thing if you would have said, man, I fly across the country. I take a lot of time. I take time out of my own schedule to really be the face of BLM. So that's now time that's not being spent on trying to earn money. That's understandable. So, okay, if you get your house, fine. Why the fuck are you buying $1 million homes though? Like, if you want to buy a house, I guess. And you know what? There probably are people saying, you dedicate so much of your time. I'm gonna donate to you because this is what you do for us. You're the face of it. But not to the tune of last year, 1.4 million. Now this year, 6 million. No. No, not to that fucking tune. You've now spent over $7 million in homes.
And you know what's fucked up is that the BLM movement is necessary. People are gonna see this and say like, you see, you're giving fucking people justification to work against your cause. And while there are plenty of other organizations that could more justly use your money to do the thing that they're setting out to do, this is a bad example of org, dog. And it sucks because everyone's gonna start painting movements with the same brush now because of this fucking. So everybody that spent money in this specific org right here should be highly upset.
Bro,
You should be.
Because essentially everybody in the org thought you were going to use the money to invest back into Black African American communities or minorities and improve the situation, but instead you've gone now overboard and taken that surplus of $6 to $7 million and spent it on just you and your family and your peers to improve your lifestyles instead of all of us. But hey,
Be highly upset, and the reality is they probably did plenty of great things in the last few years. Plenty of great things, but they're a charity. They're supposed to.
I'm about to say that's their whole existence.
They're supposed to do that, and if they're not doing that, they should no longer qualify as a charity. They should be a for-profit business. But as long as they're not that, they should be operating for the well-being, just committing their fucking objective. Whatever objective you set out to that got people to donate those millions, that's what you should fucking. Man, this gets me tight, bro. Keep talking, please. Keep talking.
I need an explanation.
Some critics argue that living in a home worth over $1 million is at odds with Patrice's social justice mission. But if this purchase upsets you, wait until you see the rest of her homes. As I mentioned, Patrice already had a real estate portfolio started, having snagged 3 other homes in the U.S. alone for about $3.2 million, according to
Bro, turn this shit off. Turn this shit
Hold on,
off.
I have to see the homes. I have to see him.
Bro, turn this shit off, bro.
I have to see
How
these
many
homes.
fucking family members are you trying to take care of? If you already own 3 homes, and then you bought another $1 million home, and then y'all bought a $6 million home this year, what the fuck is going on?
Maybe that's part of the mission statement, to house as many family members as possible.
Nigga, what the fuck?
Buying spree in LA back in 2016, a few years after the Black Lives Matter movement gained worldwide traction, thanks to the hashtag she created. That year, Patrice bought a home in Inglewood, California for $510,000 with 3 beds and 1.5 baths.
Hey, Inglewood has appreciated so much. This is probably worth $1 million now.
Now be worth around $800K.
Oh yeah.
She also added her wife, co-founder of BLM in Canada, Janaya Khan, to the deed last year. Then
I'm sorry. Yo, look, listen to what I'm saying to y'all. Listen to what I'm saying to y'all.
Oh my God.
If there's a person, a celebrity of sorts, somebody with influence, and they create a charity and they start hiring their family members, that doesn't mean they're corrupt. But look into it though, because there's usually a financial incentive to hiring your family in the charity or foundation that you run. I'm letting you know, it doesn't mean it's immediately fraudulent, but it's kind of like you get an email saying like, you didn't pay your taxes, click this link. Just be a little eerie. You might be getting scammed, brother.
Nigga, you buying homes and saying you just put some.
That's a second home in LA.
But listen to
That's
how.
a second home.
But listen to that.
You need 2?
I'm gonna buy a home and then put my wife's name under the deed. Like y'all, nigga, you know how nasty that sounds? It's not mine. It's my wife's.
in 2018, Patrice and her wife bought a 4-bedroom home in South Los Angeles in a multi-ethnic neighborhood, paying about $600K.
No way,
Next,
she's
the couple
homes.
set their sights on Georgia, acquiring yet another estate in early 2020 for over $415K. The custom ranch sits on 3.2 acres of rural land in Conyers, Georgia, a suburb about 24 miles from downtown Atlanta.
that's
The
white.
property boasts
Yeah.
a private airplane hangar with studio apartment just above it,
Private
and a
air
2005.
Shut the fuck up.
Nigga, an airplane hangar? What the fuck? Nigga, no. I can't do this. So y'all are telling me that y'all have a house together in fucking Georgia, then another house in Cali, then you bought a house just for your wife specifically, even though she's already been housed in 2 different homes on both coasts. What the fuck is going on?
This is bad.
In her memoir, she describes growing up in a housing project near Sherman Oaks in a 2-story tan-colored building with peeling paint and a gate that doesn't close. The 4 children were mostly raised by Patrice's single mother, who worked 16-hour days to support them. All right, so I think I'm gonna wrap up
So
this
did
house
they
tour.
wait? But so my question is, Did you go buy the apartment complex that you grew up in to make it a better housing situation for the people who are living there?
And that's the fucked up part, Lo. If you really wanted to do something for family and community, you wouldn't be buying yourself private estates for you.
That's what I said earlier in the video. You would be taking the money for African Americans and investing back into communities in order to just improve the overall quality of the life we live. There are a lot of people who are minorities who live in areas. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like, I don't know if poverty is the right word to use. Hold on one moment. Is poverty the right word? I think poverty might be the right word. Yeah. So Black African American people oftentimes live in areas
You and your wife.
with poverty, I want to say, or something similar to that. So a lot of the time, I mean, bro, the environment you grow up off of, I mean, you just grow up off of it. Like, you just learn the shit that you learn in your environment, where you live, where you stay, and you become a part of that environment. So I don't know, man. This is just kind of sick to me, honestly, when you think about it.
You'd be buying buildings in the projects to provide affordable housing to people who need it. Because that would be along the fucking mission statement of your organization. But instead of doing that, you're spending it frivolously. Guys, I have no problem. This is not like the Nicolo situation, because she believed in socialist Marxist values but was buying $1 million homes. She works for a charity here. It's different when your whole life is to complete the objective of your charity. I understand wanting to provide for your children. If you told me she worked her ass off, she needs $100,000 a year, I'd be like, okay, man, maybe she works her ass off, give yourself $100,000 a year. But to spend millions in real estate is just flat out corruption, dog. And there's no way around it. There's just no way around it. If you spent your money on the BLM org with the purpose of trying to uplift black people, then she didn't do it.
Why are you hiding? If you really, here's the thing also, bro, if you really believe that that's what you're trying to do for the betterment of your family, why keep it a secret? Why hide it? Trying to hide a $6 million home after already spending millions of dollars on other homes? Are you crazy? This is nasty. Because nobody was donating that much money in the belief that you were about to go spend $10 million on private homes. A house so big that you call it a campus. A house for your wife. While you and your wife already live together in another house in California, while having another house outside of Atlanta. We're not donating money so your wife can have her own separate house, which we know is fucking bullshit anyway.
You have every reason to be upset. All y'all should be upset. You should be fucking embarrassed in yourself. You should be embarrassed. You should be just flat out fucking embarrassed. Because for all the good you do, you found a way to deteriorate all of that. And in the process, deteriorate the trust that people had for your organization. And that's a shame.
So yeah, on that note, bro, let us know what y'all think about this video in the comment section below. I'm fucking pissed.
I think all in all, without saying the end, this video is kind of sick. No cap. Well, not the video itself, but the people in the video who we're talking about. I mean, obviously, they probably have done stuff for African American communities, but to spend $6 million at the expense of Black African American people is a joke within itself. Literally. It's a joke within itself.